Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to WPC Ace coverage. The gauntlet for Team Titan continues. I'm Zyori, joined once again by Gods, and we've got 4 Titan matches coming up today.
Yeah, we've had a fair share of them lately, which is good. You get to see how they play, see how they improve, see how they struggle, and share the experience with them. And they've got 2 pretty tough matches today.
First, they'll be up against Dreamtime, and then after that, they'll be up against
Mr. Newbie, Mr. Xiaowei himself.
Yeah, it should be exciting. So it's the best of 2 format per usual. 4 games total, 2 games against each opponent, and well, DT will be the first up. And wow, we're in the draft already, Gods.
Cool. Let's get right into things. That's how I like to do it. So
Yeah,
DT's a team who's just a bit about these guys. They played in the Signer Cup most recently, and they actually caused some upsets there. They actually knocked out IG, as well as I want to say LGD. So this is like a really solid Tier 2 team in China. Like you've got your clear Tier 1 teams with your IG, DK, Newbie, Vici Gaming, and maybe LGD. And then Dreamtime is like the best of the non-Tier 1 teams.
Okay.
So they're definitely a team to look out for, and I think this will be a really tough match for Titan.
Yeah, they'll have their work cut out for them. And remember to look at the right screen here. I'm working the production tonight, so bear with me here. But, alright, first ban coming out from DT. They'll be on the Dire side to get things kicked off, and they're going to take out the Lycan. Centaur banned out by Team Titan. 2 heroes that we saw a lot of yesterday. It was either Titan or Centaur first pick. So, things going to be switched up a little bit here.
Ooh. Well, Centaur, yeah, being banned out by Titan themselves, but they get an Invoker out of this. And they had 1 or 2 games of the KYXY Invoker. This is the one time where they switch up the roles a bit. KYXY normally playing carry, but when they grab the Invoker, if they play it mid, he'll take it mid. Yamate, not really known for his Invoker play.
Yeah, that should be interesting. What's more common right now? Is it the Quas Wex, Quas Exort? What are the Chinese teams?
Mostly Quas Exort, I would say, is probably about 75% of the Invoker, which I mean sounds like a lot, but it does show that Quas Wex is still very viable when teams are still running it a good core of the time. Just the Exort build with the Forward Spirits plus Necrobooks is so good for pushing.
Yeah. And it feels like the Forged Spirits were nerfed quite a bit, but just brought back down to earth. I think they're in a good place right now. Before they were just ridiculous. Now they're just okay. They're about where they should be. So, all right, very interesting. And I guess that opens up some possibilities for potential global strats as well. AA will be banned out, but I guess other global heroes are still a possibility.
Yeah. It's like, and this is another hero we kind of talked a bit about yesterday, which a lot of the Eastern teams like. That Dreamtime are going to snag up here. I need to get focused. No spoiling heroes. They get the Alchemist. An Alchemist we see run quite a bit by Vici Gaming. LGD like to run it, and Dreamtime themselves are going to pick it up. It's good. It's pretty versatile. Generally played in the mid lane, but can also slot into that secondary support role as well if you want to. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Personally, I think Alchemist is a little bit lackluster now since his stun has been nerfed. Solo mid has been really where most teams have felt comfortable, but we saw actually Solo mid Alchemist get smashed yesterday by a puck, I believe. Is that right?
An OD one.
An OD, that's what it was. Yeah.
I think it was 2 games with Alchemist mid. Oh no, the second time was actually banned out when we were thinking maybe a team was going to go Alchemist, but an Alchemist got owned by an OD.
Yeah, I mean, any ranged hero kind of does pretty well against Alchemist. Acid Spray is just a little too underwhelming. It's decent harass, but it's not enough to secure Alchemist decent last hits. And as we were talking about, someone like Naga can Bottle Crow last it with Riptide. Alchemist, he doesn't really have that luxury. He still has to do it the old-fashioned way, and, well, yeah, we'll see how they utilize him here. They do grab their first support, perhaps their second support. Will be that Visage, and Titan will go ahead and grab the Nature's Prophet, so well on their way to a potential global strat and plenty of pushing power.
That's very true. And they'd like to pick up their offlane heroes for a higher generally early on in the draft. They ban out the Centaur deny from Dreamtime, so they say, look, we'll get that Nature's Prophet for a higher. It's kind of his second, like they kind of prioritize first the Centaur, second the Nature's Prophet, then his third option is generally the Nyx Assassin. So Ahio generally plays these Space Graves in the offlane, but when he plays Nature's Prophet, he actually gets a bit more farm than he otherwise would. So we'll see how he does this game around on the Nature's Prophet. For Dreamtime, you talked about this support here, Visage. You said you want to see more of it. He's a good support.
I like Visage. I think he's so good right now. I'm surprised more teams don't prioritize him. And here you go, Dreamtime. Every time I think DT, I always think Dreamtime. I had that same problem when I last cast them, but Happy to see Visage picked up here in the first
I
round.
like him. I'm on board now. Partly because I just played my one pub game for the week, and I was Visage, and I wrecked house. So I'm completely on board with the Visage pick.
I played a Visage game last night as well, but I wasn't victorious.
The solo queue woes continue?
Yeah, well, I've sort of come back to going 50-50, but at about 400 MMR lower than what I was, so I'm not sure what that says. Losing streak sort of ended, but the winning streak hasn't quite begun yet, so it's that middle streak, I guess.
Gotcha.
But Clinks will be banned out here, and as will the Knicks. So like you were talking about, Titan, they got their offlaner with the Furion, so they'll take the few that are remaining out of the pool with, wow, the Darkseer of the Knicks, and actually banning out the Centaur.
It really limits stream time, because like taking out strong and viable offlaners when there's very few left in the pool really hurts stream time. Like, it can either force them to go offensive tri-lane or force them to get a really weak offlane hero, something like a Beastmaster who can completely zone out of the lane. Bristleback as well, considered to be pretty underwhelming nowadays. Timbersaw, these kind of heroes just not as good in the offlane because they require too much farm. Compare that to a Nyx Assassin, a Centaur. These heroes are played more in the offlane now just because they do a lot even when they don't get farm. They just need the levels.
Yeah, that's very true. You know, I think Timbersaw can still play a role in this meta, especially when we see some teams with these kind of strength core lineups.
But like against this Titan lineup, you do not want to be Timbersaw.
Definitely not. Definitely.
If you get a 1v1 against Nature's Prophet, it's okay. But in general, come mid to late game, if you're an underfarmed Timbersaw because you went up against a tri-lane, you're going to be very useless.
Well, Clockwork could still be an option for Dreamtime here.
Yeah, Clockwork's actually a good choice.
Yeah. Can hold his own against the Nature's Prophet.
Yes. Some teams are still like prioritizing Clockwork so much that they're like first two picking him.
Yeah.
We saw one game yesterday where I think it was a first pick Clockwork, and we both looked at each other like, "What are they doing?" And it failed pretty hard. But I think it was the Team Tong Fu. But
Clockwork really seems to be a hero to me that has a deceptively high skill cap, where a lot of teams pick him up on occasion where they don't really have a strong Clockwork player, and there's a lot of players that can play Clockwork. He's conceptually pretty easy, but every so often you see one of those just next level Clockwork players that's moving around, making plays happen, and I don't know. So he's just an odd hero to watch. Sometimes he's the playmaker that ends up winning you the game, and other games he's just pretty lackluster and kind of just sits around, tries to farm, and gets shut down pretty hard. So, well,
one thing I might suggest, you might want to mute Dota 2 during the draft, otherwise it spoils some of these wonderful picks just to keep the suspense up for our viewers.
Good call.
I mean, I don't mind. I see the picks, but just getting all these like hero sounds before they come out, because I think it's nice to show the stream from WPC.
Yeah.
Hope you guys are enjoying it. It's very familiar. You may recognize it from a certain Western tournament. Well, some elements of it, some of the stat stuff, but they implement the camera shots as well, which I mean, anytime you can see the players and get like a more human feel, like that they're not just anonymous nicknames on a screen, is always nice. So
yeah, I'm a big fan. I like the WPC overlays. I'm not as big of a fan of the giant minimap on the right side, but I really do like the camera.
It's taking up half the screen, and it's so useless.
Yes, that's my beef. Is not necessarily its utility; is just its size. It definitely doesn't warrant half of the useful information as the screen real estate would. You can
just talk about the lanes for one thing, or you can often just kind of see the lanes from just looking at the heroes. Like, I'm not sure how much value that giant minimap adds.
Yeah, but Puck will be the third choice here.
Even just having like player like you don't know what, like if you're a new viewer or something, you don't know who the players are on each team.
Yeah.
You could just be cycling through like player photos over there. Well, I guess they show the camera shots, so player photos not necessary, but player names / rosters. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you'd put there.
I would also make the icons a little bit bigger.
For the hero. Oh, you mean on the minimap?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like their faces are pretty tiny, but
gotcha.
I don't know. I use the larger minimap icons now. Now I'm hooked on it.
Do you actually use the hero icons, or do you use just the circles?
Well, just the circles when I'm here now. I cranked it up to 900.
That's the thing. I see a lot of players doing that, and definitely everyone I hear that does it's like it helps my map pointers quite a lot.
Yeah, I like it. Now, the problem is now that I'm used to it, when I forget to do it or the console isn't loaded, I feel like I'm crippled. Like the little icons are too tiny, so it's a little bit of a double edge on that front if I forget about it. But people have also told me it's good for like mobile viewers because the minimap is so small on that tiny resolution. The bigger dots are a little bit easier to see. So, I don't know. Helping out those mobile viewers when I can. Rubik going to be the third choice for Team Titan, so that'll be their first support on the board. Nothing too crazy about the Rubik. Not the best Rubik game. I mean, Dream Coil, a pretty decent ability to steal. Concoction, Soul Assumption. Maybe he can snag familiars, but
He's a good support kind of outside of the spell steal is the big thing with Rubik. He's one of the few supports that is just like telekinesis is one of those spells that people don't really talk about, but it's an instant stun. Like people don't think of telekinesis as a stun, but that's what it is. When you lift someone up in the air, they can't move, they can't cast a spell. It's essentially a stun, and it also moves them around to make it easier to kill them. So in fact, it's better than a stun.
yeah.
Telekinesis is actually a very under talked about spell for what it offers.
The fact that it's instant is really its big selling point.
It makes ganking and killing heroes like Puck fantastic, because if you're a hero with a projectile stun like a Vengeful Spirit or well, not so much Sand King, like a Leshrac Alina, so easy to phase shift dodge those stuns. Rubik, impossible.
So Dreamtime, they'll grab themselves the Bristleback. That's the offlane hero that you had mentioned, and he'll work pretty well here. Another one of these games where Timbersaw would have worked well for Titan, but since they grabbed that Nature's Prophet so early on, Dreamtime can feel a little bit more safe with these big, beefy heroes.
Yeah. Bristleback, you haven't seen much of him. If he gets zoned out early, he kind of struggles a lot, though. Yeah. It's the big worry for him.
He was so popular for a while. He's definitely one that I think of as kind of his pick rate was maybe increased a bit just through popularity, because there was a time when he was first pick, first ban every game, and he hasn't really been changed too much since then. He wasn't really nerfed.
His base damage got nerfed was the main thing I want to say.
Was it? Was it something that was
check some patch notes.
Yeah, okay.
Let me Google this.
And the Sand King here for Titan, so another popular hero. I love them some Sand King.
Net loves his Sand King. This is his best hero.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be Net's hero, I imagine. The way he plays, everyone will joke about it, but he stays in the trees. He will hide around, camp in the map, wait for it yesterday.
Yeah, it's true. I thought you were making jokes about it, but he really does like the trees. There were several times when he was just camped out, ready for somebody to walk by. And
so Bristleback, base damage reduced by 4.
Okay.
Pretty small change, but it does affect him a decent amount.
Yeah.
4 base damage is more than it sounds like, and I reckon if he still had that 4 damage, he'd maybe be slightly picked a tiny bit more.
Yeah, maybe.
But I think he was somewhat overpicked last patch, and I think he's almost somewhat underpicked this patch. Also, I think the metagame's changed and just shifted away from that Bristleback.
Yeah.
Offlaners who need too much farm is just a no-no, unless you're a hero who can catch up in the jungle. You're Nature's Prophet, you're Batrider. These offlane heroes need farm, but they can get it in the jungle.
One spot that Bristleback can recover a little bit is with Ancient Stacks, but still not...
Yeah, he does all right there.
Yeah, not the best. Not quite comparable to that Nature's Prophet or Batrider who can just easily transition into the jungle. And
get the good old Morphling, and then immediate OD response. Titan love playing OD against Morphling, and it matches up really well against the Morphling. It's really hard for Morphling to fight into OD, and well, I don't know. I kind of worry for Dreamtime. OD pure damage against both Bristleback and Morphling, fantastic pick. And Titan have played well. This is the second time they pick OD in the last 2 days, so they're obviously comfortable with it.
Yeah. Now.
Puts Invoker into the safe lane, though, presumably, because the OD almost exclusively mid. Not to say that's a bad thing, because Invoker in the safe lane does just fine.
Yeah, especially if you're going to go for that Exort build. You have the Forged Spirits, the extra units make it a little bit easier in that kind of a solo lane role, but it will end up being sort of more of a tri-lane built around this Invoker, and that can harbor him a little bit, a hero that really needs a lot of experience and generally doesn't want to share with the supports, but as we've seen, Sand King will have very little trouble getting up some farm in the jungle, and Rubik, he'll probably just want to be rotating around, setting up kills wherever he can. Let's introduce these rosters, though, and on the Radiant side, we will have Team Titan. We'll see them in all 4 games tonight. It will be Net playing on his Sand King, KYXY on his Invoker, Extinct playing on the Rubik. In the mid role, it will be NWP on the Outworld Devourer, and in the off lane, it will be Ohio on the Nature's Prophet.
Well, for the Dire team, it's the Chinese squad looking to defend their home soil, because right now Titan are 7-1 in WPC, and that's a pretty beastly record now. Top of the points charts, it's going to be Team Dreamtime. We've got Super playing the support Visage. We've got Dreamy U playing the Alchemist. It's going to be also supporting. We've got XDD on the farming Morphling. Mid lane's going to be Air on the Puck, and then finally in the off lane, in July, going to be playing a Bristleback here. Spots up net at the bottom river, as looks like they'll just trade blows a little bit here.
Gods, do we have Dota 2 lounge bets for this? I want to know some percentages.
Ooh, I think Titan were decent favorites, but let me have a quick look.
Always curious to see how the bets are. Not always the best indicator of...
71%, in fact.
Oh, that's...
I think it's more 60-40. I think that's not giving Dreamtime credit.
That might be a value bet for Dreamtime there.
Absolutely.
Something worth considering. Now, there will be some counter warding here coming out for Titan already, and they will be victorious. I'm not sure. I guess Extinct saw him put that down. They did burn 2 sentries. Yeah. One of them was just to block the Ancients here, so going to make Bristleback's time in the offlane a little bit more difficult.
This is another reason why Bristleback got picked less. It's just teams started countering the Ancients, so no Ancients for him. Net with Boots can just zone him out of this lane, and KYXY goes Quaz level 1. I think we'll still see Quaz Exalt. Quaz level 1 just gets him Cold Snap sooner. You can win this lane and get kills using Cold Snap, while you can't really do so using level 1 Sunstrike. The Cold Snap just that little bit better.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried for In July here. He's not going to get much out of this lane between the supports inbound and just Invoker himself. I mean, he has no problem dealing with a Bristleback without the Ancients to fall back on. What's this Bristleback going to do? What's going to be his source of revenue here to have a presence in the mid game?
Yeah. Meanwhile, top laner, High's doing really well against this challenge. He's hit level 2 already. He's stopped the double pull from happening, pulling off the big camp with a Treant. And he's harassing these 2 heroes so heavily. Both these supports, one has 0 armor, the other has 1 armor. They just get crushed by Treant damage as well as Ahaya's right click. And Ahaya with Boots can actually do a lot of right click damage.
Yeah, now one good thing for DT though is they put Morphling in this safe lane, which leaves them with a Puck in the mid. And well, not too great against OD. Really, any int hero OD should have a pretty big edge on, but at least their Morphling will have secured farm. And well, he can give them some sort of carry power here. It will, however, be a hard support Alchemist here. I guess more of a position 5 Alch, which is... Well, I don't know. What's your take on the position 5 Alchemist right now, Gods?
He's okay. He's not nowhere near as strong as he used to be. The stun nerf really hit him hard. We'll see Puck hoping for a top rune. It's going to be an illusion, and well, Prophet was tempting to TP there, but it decided against an air. Snags this 2-minute rune. That's a nice little pickup that he really needs against this OD. Yep,
illusion thrown into the bottle, and his last hit score really isn't so bad. OD 13-5 against 8-1 Puck. That's admirable. Air is hanging in there, but it will get more difficult for him. As OD starts to rack up some levels, has that second point in Astral Imprisonment, and at level 5 in particular is when Puck struggles a bit with that smaller mana pool.
Yeah, but for the most part, lane's going fairly sound. I think Titan getting a bit of an edge. The Prophet getting a lot out of this top lane. Bottom lane, KYXY free farming away. They've done a good job zoning out the Bristleback. He has hit level 2 though, which is still pretty decent for him. And I guess the one thing where I feel like Titan should be doing a bit better is this mid lane. 14-7 to the 11-4 in Puck. This is definitely an OD favored matchup, and that's where I feel Yamate just isn't just imposing himself enough on this lane.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Glancing at the early gold graph here, it's about a 3,000 gold edge for Titan across the lane, so they are still getting a small advantage, but you're absolutely right. Puck should be struggling much more than he is, and I don't know. We saw Yamate's OD yesterday, did we not?
Yeah, I
think we did in that one game, and yeah, he looked pretty good. But that was a slightly different setup where he was able to get away with some serious greed. That was Brown Boots straight into Scythe of Vice, which is. I don't think he'll be able to get away with that here. I think a 4-staff or a mech may be his first choice.
The way he plays a kind of more passive mid lane than other people. He doesn't try to push opponents out of the lane. And I mean, there was one kind of snide remark, which I don't fully agree with. Like I think it was on the Team Liquid forums about Yamate. It was in the game where he was a Storm Spirit against Ember Spirit, and he was like even or even behind on CS. And people were like, how's that happening? It's like, well, Yamate hasn't really won the mid lane in a long time. He doesn't really dominate the mid lane as much as someone like a Mushi or a Denji.
Yeah, we'll see some initiation onto July here. The Sunstrike comes in, and this Bristleback is in big trouble, or is he? Does get the healing salve off. Now OD rotates in. That'll knock off the salve. Astral Imprisonment used, and they'll converge on him. I think In July should fall right here. There's the Burrow Strike. That'll secure the first blood, and Extinct will pick up the bonus gold on the Rubik. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Ohio actually gets initiated upon, but they won't be able to secure the kill. And first blood will come out the way of Titan.
Yeah. Fast boots on that, well, straight boots from Ohio paying off there in the offlane. And he's already up to 700 gold, so if he wants the phase boots upgrade, which you generally go for before your Midas, he's going to do really well up here, although I don't think he can defend this tower. He's got more Treants coming in that are about to expire, and this is going to be a dead tier 1, but nothing really Ohio can do about this.
And in return, they will pressure the offlane tower for DT a little bit down bottom. KYXY, no Forge Spirits out at the moment. But that's all right. A pretty predictable tower falling, and it actually doesn't get finished off by the Morphling, which perhaps intentional, perhaps not, but...
No, that wouldn't be.
Yeah. Generally, you want your carry getting that bonus gold. XDD waveforming forward, but takes some tower shots.
He even missed the waveform on Ahaya there.
That was a little bit awkward.
Whoopsie. Rotation towards mid now from Dreamy on the Alchemist. He's going to look for a bit of a flank here, but again, OD, this is kind of similar to a puck with phase shift. You can astral yourself to dodge those Alchemists. He's actually going to swing back top. They're looking for that kill in Ohio, and once Morphling has mana for a waveform, which he does with his bottle, this is a potential kill.
Yeah, Ohio perhaps in some trouble here. They did get the acid spray down. There's the waveform forward, and Ohio will take a spill. Visage, being played by Super, going to be the one to grab that kill.
That was a really smart rotation from Dreamy. That's the kind of wraparound you don't expect this early on. Normally, they push the tier 1, they get to the tier 2, you think, okay, it's at my tier 2, I'm safe, but coming from behind like that, the Alchemist really smart.
Yeah, and there are those phase boots you were talking about on the Nature's Prophet. May still well go for a hand of Midas, but wants to get a little more lane utility and at least have a chance at surviving onslaughts such as that. There will be another Radiant Ward put down at the bottom rune here, compliments of Rubik, and that scouts out Puck, bottling up the 6-minute regeneration. So all tied up, one apiece here as we cross the 6-minute mark. OD is now level 6, and he should be still doing a lot better against this Puck, but there's only a 5 creep score difference, which is startling.
OD's got 13 denies to the Puck's 4, but that's where OD has a huge damage output bonus, not to mention the Astral and Prison to work with, so I think he's just not winning this lane as hard as he should be.
Yeah, especially with power treads out, Puck still sitting on brown boots. There's a good 50% damage edge here for Yamate. He's hitting for just about 100 a pop, and Air hitting for about 62. That is a huge difference, and not only just in last hitting creeps, but if they ever go blow for blow, OD should be able to just slowly harass this Puck out of the lane presence. But actually, no, it'll be Yamate that takes some pretty heavy damage. He'll finally get the Astral off, but the Dream Coil's already been burned. Super in big trouble. OD will pop out. He'll finish him off. Now Puck may actually get turned around on. Well, they'll make it a 1-0 the other way as they finish off Visage. But more importantly, Yamate survives, just barely, but makes it back to the well. Just
barely indeed. I think there was a Puck uphill miss, although I don't think it would have finished him off. He would have needed 2 right clicks, but either way, Yamate playing with fire there in the mid lane. As, well, nicely done. Tight and get the rotation there. Rubik was there waiting. That was smart awareness from Extinct, knowing that Puck's level 6 and that there's a likely rotation from one of the DT supports to try to get that kill. So he's there at the right place at the right time.
And the first Midas will come out onto the field. KYXY on the Invoker will go ahead and pick it up after Brown Boots. A smart choice. Invoker, a hero that benefits from experience more than most. And he's been farming quite a bit this game. He's had a lot of room just to sit back and rack up those last hits. So I think a Midas is well warranted. How's the Morphling doing? He's doing just fine. Power treads and Aquila, but no hand of Midas on the field as of yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he'll go Midas as like a safe lane farm. I don't know. I haven't seen too many of the Chinese players go for the Midas on the Morphling. Not to say it's not very good. I think it's great.
Smoke down bottom. KYXY perhaps in some trouble. There's no Dream Coil up on the Puck. Comes up in about 5 seconds. He'll throw a Sunstrike before he goes down, off the mark. Will eventually get picked off, but in comes Net. That'll be the end of the Bristleback, making it a 1-for-1. Maybe they can grab another kill as the Unstable Concoction comes out onto the Sand King. Buys him a little bit of time. Air with a Dream Coil available. Throws it out onto Rubik. And Extinct in big trouble. A few more right clicks will take him down. One charges by him a second, but it won't be enough, and that makes it a 2-for-1, going the way of DT.
Nice rotation there. XTD now going to find himself a bottom lane. Didn't actually help out in the end, but got a bit of experience and gold as well, just from being in assist range. So he'll come down this bottom lane. Net not wait till his tower go. He's actually suddenly on 1,500 gold now. He must have been spending some time jungling and stuff, because this is going to be a pretty fast Blink Dagger out from the Sand King.
Yeah, and switching it up a little bit from before. Level 5, 3 points in the Burrow Strike. Yesterday we actually saw 3 points in the Sandstorm at 5. So this is what I would consider a little bit more of a typical build. And yesterday we even got to see a Sand King with a Blink Dagger before hitting level 6, which was an odd and rare treat, not something that we see too often.
That was ZSMJ pretending he was still a carry player. Like, guys, I gotta farm.
That was
this is what I do best.
That was a little bit different, but we will see this OD actually going for more of a traditional build. Looks like Mech will be inbound first, and he's got the first 2 core pieces, and about halfway to that recipe.
Wow, he's really fast, Mech.
And which is definitely good news. He still has about a 500 gold advantage over this Puck, and finally starting to pull ahead in CS a little bit. Puck spent some time out of the lane, rotating down to the bottom, and that whole time Yamate was just sitting in the mid, soaking up those last hits. He's about 53-18 versus the 35-4 Puck. So that growing disparity.
That's good. A good game to be going for the mech, because the game yesterday we saw when he harassed the Hex, he was more of a carry that game because it was Ohio playing Central. This time around, Ohio's on a good carry slash semi-carry in Nature's Prophet. That's where OD can go for a more just defensive team-based build where he goes for the mech, the 4-star, because he doesn't have to dish out tons of damage. You've got 2 carries to help do that, the Invoker as well as Prophet.
Yeah, and there was actually almost a kill that came out on In July right there. Cheeky little use of the tree and scattered him out as he was hiding in the trees right around here. And Sunstrike was just barely off the mark, but probably would have been a kill, and that would have been rather impressive. 4 points in that Egg Sword. That's pretty potent Sunstrike that KYXY's got going on.
We'll see Morphling just back top, continue to farm. He's up to 1,200 gold. I'm curious to see if he goes for the Lincolns or if he's just going to rush an Ethereal Blade. Generally, when you get Bottle, you don't also go for Lincoln. So this may just be a straight-up Ethereal Blade from XDD.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he'll be going for the Midas, though still could be an option. I would have liked it here just because he's had so much space. I mean, he has gotten involved in these fights a little bit, 0-0 and 1, but as the leader in terms of net worth, I don't know, I think it just would have been a decent Midas game. Very little pressure has come this Morphling's way.
Yeah, he's had a fantastic time. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Sand Think about going in here. He's been spotted by the looks of things. He'll make his way out. He's up to 2.2k gold. That's his Blink Dagger. We're seeing this more and more. Sand King's just not leveling Epicenter that early on. He's level 7 and no points in the Epicenter. 4-3-0 build. The Epicenter level 1 isn't that impressive, and your mana pool is a bit lacking. Like, you get the Blink Dagger just for the Blink stun, not so much for the Epicenter Blink. Like, that Epicenter Blink isn't that scary until you hit level 11. It's still worth getting, like, at level 8. We'll probably get at level 8, but it's not that potent on its own.
Right, and OD is rotated down bottom now. He's got his mech complete, so he needs to be in these team fights. Puck with a haste rune in the bottle does have power treads online as well. It looks like DT will repel this push at their bottom tier 1 tower. Sort of creating some space for that Morphling. He did try and chip away at this tier 2, but Ohio was on point. He came in, and he did repel. Looks like his Midas will be delivered on this courier. Yep, and pretty well timed. A 12-minute Midas after phase boots for the off-lane Prophet. Pretty admirable.
Yep, this is almost like your standard expected time. Like you come into a game asking what time should your off-lane Prophet get his phase Midas. You almost always would 12 minutes, I think, is the average.
About the standard, yeah. So now DT looking like they'll set up a bit of a counter push here in the bottom lane. There are still 4 heroes as the creeps do get pulled to the
in
side
the trees,
of the tree
as
line.
usual.
Yeah, just camping it out here. This guy's Blink Dagger, so
he finds the spot always. He doesn't even have the Epicenter. He's just here ready to go for a Blink stun.
Yeah, there will be a push in the mid lane, and there you go. Net finally blinks forward. Gonna path block In July a little bit here.
Oh no! Oh,
Yamate. Oh no. Just a little bit of a misclick there.
There's a Blink stun in 1 second. They're gonna go for this.
And there's the Sunstrike on the mark as well, and they won't even need it. Easy kill.
They wanted some style points there.
Yeah, that was...
Yamate, please.
At least there was a recovery kill. If he had gotten away, it would have been a little bit worse. So in the end, just waste a little bit of their time. And, well, we got a laugh out of it, so could have been worse, gods. Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
So DT, they do defend the tower in the mid lane, keep it just barely out of deny range, and they started to do a little bit of counter pushing, but don't really commit to it. Now OD just starts racking up the last hits in the bottom, and they'll pull another rotation.
Be careful bottom.
Astral on the bristle.
You can die to that exact same Blink Burrow Strike plus Sunstrike combo if he's not careful.
Yeah.
If he pushes up at all, I think they go for it again.
OD just hurts in general against that bristle right now. He's just about level 11, and Bristleback is only level 6. He's about on par with the supports. Actually, just right smack dab in the middle of the supports, and meanwhile, Nature's Prophet, he's level 8.
Sneaky from DT. Into the Roshan pit they go. And they've de-warded. They've got the sentry down, so they know Titan have no vision nearby. And pushing in and trying to, even if they know DT are going Roshan, it's really hard to contest when DT have river vision. They can see Titan coming and prepare for it. So just an easy free Roshan going DT's way.
Yeah, such a smart play right here. Anytime you have Bristleback, especially on the dire side, Roche is just so easy. They didn't even need the acid spray right there. That sticky, viscous goo just makes Roche so easy to take down.
Yep. And they had the medallion as well. And Morphling actually right-clicks really hard with everything. He was fully morphed to agility, more or less. And with the minus armor from Goo plus the medallion, that's an easy Roshan to kill on. But Titan, looks like they will get a trade at bottom lane. They'll get a tier 1 tower. Net, of course, hiding, waiting for that Blink Burrow Strike. And not going to find anything here as DT give up a free tower.
Don't you understand? Stay in the trees, Sand King.
He understands better than anyone, I'll tell you that.
He knows exactly what we're talking
This
about.
is where I wish there was like
I mean, look at him. He just literally blinked into the trees, puts a ward down, and he's happy to be stuck there. This is his home.
No, this is one of those things, if you had like the stats, I think like Sky stats had like some like, you can see where people had been like on the map at certain times. If you had that for like player base, like how often they're in lane, how often they're in trees, Net would hands down win the trees stat. By probably like doubling everyone else's time spent in trees.
Yeah, I have never encountered another player that is so comfortable here. He'll actually go ahead and burn the epicenter. He'll blink forward, and in July, he'll get picked off, and the time well spent in the trees. It secures a kill. I love this guy. This is what it's all about, God.
And it's funny because everyone knows he does it. The Chinese commentators, Roland was saying that's all they ever talk about on the Chinese stream. Winter, when I was casting with him the other day, who used to be Net's teammate, he's now an Orange, so he plays against Titan all the time because they're the two big Malaysian spots. He's like, yeah, Net just always hides in the trees, but like Winter kind of knows the spots that he likes to go, so he's a bit better at finding him there. But everyone knows Net loves to do it, but it's still effective. It always finds kills. You never know whether he's top, bottom lane. Where exactly is Net?
Yeah, well, that's the good thing about the trees. You say it, and as it sort of means something, but there's a lot of trees in Dota. There's a lot of places that Net could be hiding. So
there's a lot of trees in Dota. Yeah. That's Zyuri 2014.
It's true.
That's words of wisdom. I like that.
Oh, boy.
Good
So
play.
this Morphling still farming away. #1 in the net worth, but, well, Titan is coming for him, and they've set up a pretty decent lead for themselves. About 3,000 gold, 2,000 experience here at the 60-minute mark. They will lose that top tier 2 tower. Morphling gets the last hit this time. Not much Ohio can do about it.
Yeah.
So that'll further
a tier 2 tower,
his lead. Yeah.
That's a pretty big pickup this early on, and that's just some Morphling solo pushing. We'll get a Lincoln Sphere probably about 17 minutes in. Morphling's pretty big here, and I feel like this game's pretty even. Neither team's really pulled fire ahead. Titan with a like 2 to 3k gold lead, but that's I think a little bit misleading. I think DT are actually in an alright position here. They've got most of their core items. Lincoln's on Morphling, Blink Dagger on Puck. Bristleback working towards what I imagine is going to be a mech for the team, and I think DT are actually in an okay position for their lineup.
But Titan, they're getting feisty here. It will be a 3-man smoke behind the backside. There's the stun forward from Net. They'll connect onto the Visage. He'll be the first to fall. Morphling trying to get back to strength. He'll survive the initial onslaught. Bristleback won't be so lucky. Right now, NWP just doing a lot of damage. There's the telekinesis, and they're just going to lay into this Morphling. See you later. That's the end of his Aegis. And this is just a bloody disaster for DT. That'll be the end of the Alchemist. Triple kill for the Outworld Devourer. Maybe they can pick off the Morphling here as well. He'll get thrown into an Astral. They've already burned his Aegis, and yeah, they've got plenty of crowd controls. That will be a 6-for-0 exchange. Ultra kill for Yamate. Gods.
So, game was even, then team wipe happened.
What was that about DT in a good position there, buddy?
That was just a terrible fight for them. That was, like, they should not have been fighting. They were in a good position, but not a position where they want to take team fights. The mech on Bristleback wasn't up. Morphling his Lincolns was not actually, it hadn't arrived on the courier yet. They lost the courier as well. That was the dire courier with his Lincoln Sphere. It was a team wipe, plus Aegis, plus courier dying, plus towers dying. Everything that could go wrong just went wrong. DT should not have taken that fight. They didn't have the Lincolns, they didn't have the mech. They were farming fine. They just need to farm for another 2-3 minutes, and then they'd be ready to fight.
Yeah.
That was just an awful decision, man.
I mean, look at this gold graph. 2,500 all the way up to 7,500 over the matter of just about 2 minutes. And, yeah, now Titan have secured themselves a wonderful lead in this game. OD has dethroned the Morphling as the #1 farmer. And, oh, by the way, he's just gone ahead and grabbed a Mystic Staff because why the hell not? We're 18 minutes in, and, well, he's well on his way to a sheep.
Yeah. No problem. Yamate, he's back. OD's back. I feel like this hero just disappeared a little bit from the metagame, but he's still very strong in certain situations. Definitely kind of fits into that last pick type role where you catch your opponents by surprise with an OD pick when they weren't expecting it. Not to mention he can counter your opponent's mid hero or just like a hero like a Bristleback. And that's where I feel OD currently is looking really good as just a pick in general.
Yeah, and that's one of the good things about grabbing something like a first pick Invoker is he's actually a little bit of a flex pick. We'll see the Nature's Prophet take down the top 2-1 tower, but Invoker, I mean, he did just fine in that safe lane role this game. With Exort, he farmed just fine with support in the jungle. They killed the Bristleback, and a great flex pick and opened up for an easy solo mid OD.
Titan are cruising now. They're going to have double Necro 3s in a second. Both Nature's Prophet has his if he wants to buy it, and Invoker's just 400. Oh, no, he's got it. He's just came out in the courier. So they've got double Necro 3 now. Stun at the top lane. They want to kill off this Alchemist. It looks like it should be pretty straightforward. Puck goes in with a Blink Silence here. Extinct as well as Net now in trouble here. They may have overextended Titan. Morphin going to get extinct. They may just cut their losses here with the 2 supports going down. But Yamate says no. He says, I'll take the freebie.
He'll finish off the Alchemist, and definitely an overcommitment from Titan. The 2 supports getting a little bit overzealous there.
These Necro 3s hurt right now, and this Morphling has to be very careful.
He certainly does, taking a lot of damage from NWP. He'll go ahead and throw the ultimate. I'm not sure if that actually connected with the Morphling. Certainly didn't look like it.
I think Waveform dodged it.
Yeah. So, still, not a bad little skirmish for Titan. They do trade 1 for 2, but they get a lot of damage on this tier 2 tower. I think they'll be forced to back out here as the Necro units will get cleaned up, just about to expire anyhow.
Yep. Down goes a higher to the bottom lane. The Rat Dota will continue. Not even Rat Dota right now. They can just take fights. They're not even they're not even just ignoring fights and pushing side lanes. They're just going straight into DT with these Necrobooks, with these minions of theirs. Slight overextension there coming from the supports who decided to engage behind the tower when they couldn't get a kill, but no big deal.
Yeah, no biggie. And Ohio, he'll teleport up towards the top lane. XDD already in the lane. Necro 3 popped, and this Morphling's actually completely out of mana. He could be in big trouble here. He'll get stuck inside of the Sprout. The Courier coming in again. Oh, how funny would it have been if he could pick that off. Doesn't get the Courier. That'll be his Lincolns.
Oh my god, what a player, Ohio.
Wow. Will he be able to finish XDD here is the question. Trying to get the Trance into a position to block him out. Net comes in with the Burrow Strike, and XDD will take a spill. Meanwhile, in the front of the lane, and nope, they won't get the Courier and won't find another kill, but this will secure this top tier 2 tower.
And OD Invoker killed Bristleback in the mid lane. He had his mech up, but that didn't really matter too much, so Titan get a couple more kills. They'll get a couple more towers. They're pretty much ready to push high ground if they really want. Double Necro 3s plus Forward Spirits is something DT just can't fight. They haven't got the ability to do so. Acid Spray plus Puck Nukes will stall it a little bit, but nowhere near enough. These Familiars just melt!
Yeah, and also with the double Necro books, you need to be a little bit careful with who gets the last hit on that. That can burst you down pretty quickly, so it's almost not in Puck's best interest if he's really spot on and catches a phase shift, but only 1 point, so he'll have to time that pretty darn well. Has himself the ultimate orb, but just such a huge boost of gold going to Titan. Now about a 12,000 gold lead, 12,000 experience lead.
Net 4-star bottom lane into the trees again. He just like blink 4-stuff just in his spot. His blink and 4-stuff are on cooldown, so he's not ready to go yet, but he is just... DT do not see him coming.
Yep, he's level 11 too, so that Burrow Strike a bit more potent. Tier 2 tower will fall, and this could be a huge opening right here. He doesn't have eyes on the team.
Let's blink onto the high ground there. Let's get up in these trees like up here, like right above him. That's where he needs to... That's his next spot to blink to. Like, he goes up there and, like, he can just hide there waiting.
This sneaky devil, he's thinking about it too. You can tell he's ready to blink in.
If they go for a bottom push, he probably does try get into that spot. But man, it's just so funny watching him play. Like, he prioritizes getting into hiding spots because he used like blink and 4-staff to get into this little spot. Well, he 4-staff's a little higher up.
Oh, he's ready for this.
Yeah. He's very ready, and that's why they say, look, he says, I'm in position bottom lane, we push bottom lane.
Yeah.
Don't go top, don't go mid, we're going bottom lane.
I mean, they're just going to try and bait something out here. They're waiting for this Puck to overcommit with a Dream Coil, waiting for this Bristle to get a little bit too overzealous, and then you'll see that Epicenter just charging up and ready to come on in. Morphling may have his Lincolns up, but that ain't going to save you from the tremble of the Epicenter Earthquake.
Yeah. I tell you, man, at TI4, it's going to be patience from net. That's all day long, patience from net. This guy is just quietly waits every single game.
All right.
And Ohio even cuts down some trees. He's like, Net's not here.
Eric comes in, and there you go, Net. He's revealed himself. He will Sandstorm off in the trees. Rest of the fight breaking out now, and oh, Dreamy U taking a lot of damage. The mech comes out. That'll be the end of the Visage and the Alchemist to get things started. There's the Epicenter. Bristleback going to be the third to fall. Puck hopping into the battle, but he'll get sheep straight away. And yeah, Aaron, big trouble. XCD, he waveforms forward, does grab a couple of kills here. Double coming out for the Morphling as he finishes off the Rubik as well as the OD. And he will survive. Still very convincing fight for Titan. It will end as a 4-for-2.
Yeah. Yeah, Net actually, I think he thought there was maybe trees there when he went onto the high ground. He was like, oh, wait, there's no trees here.
Yeah.
I'm revealed. Panic. But, yeah, it's a 4-for-2 trade. Not as clean as Titan would have hoped for, but they get a bit of damage onto the tower. They win the team fight end of the day, and they can just back off. Wait for Roshan to respawn, which just happens now. DT will scout this out with the Visage Familiar, so if they can get this fast before Titan get there, nice. But I think getting in there, and killing it fast enough is just not going to happen. Net's invis with a gem. He's going to scout out any moves towards the Roshan pit.
Yeah, and this is such a good call right here with the invisibility rune. That'll make things a little bit easier, and I just don't think DT are in a position to try and commit to Roche. They can take it down fast, but not that fast. And, yeah, they just don't want to fight in the pit right now. With the OD ult on cooldown, maybe this could be a possibility.
They're going for it, and Net, I think, knows this.
Actually, Epicenter is down as well, so maybe this is a smarter play than I was giving it credit for. We'll go ahead and open onto Super here. There's the Wrath of Nature. Visage will get juiced to start off this fight. Roche at about half health. They were taking him down quickly, but now it's a 5v4 on the field. They can't contest too easily. Nature's Prophet is in the top lane just pushing away. Net, he hops forward. Burrow strikes to the high ground. Puck off the mark with the Waning Rift, but they will punish the Sin King. Gems on the ground. Ping's coming out, but Morphling, he can't get to it. The Familiars are blocking him in.
Yep.
But nobody else can get to it either, so Gem will get handed over.
All right. That was, yeah, Net blinking blindly onto the high ground there, and there was 4 heroes waiting for him. A bit over-ambitious.
Yes.
He didn't really have an escape plan for once he blinks on the high ground. Sure, you can Burrow Strike out, but Familiars give vision of that little high ground spot, so that was just a bit too over-ego.
Yeah, and Yamate does survive. Nature's Prophet just pushes in that top lane, but doesn't really get to do any kind of crippling damage. Has himself a Shadow Blade. All in all, Roche contested, and he's still alive. Got about 7,000 hit points left as he regenerates up. DT still won't have an easy time moving into the pit, and that was their big opportunity there. The big win there was just that they got the gem, and that's why I'm a little surprised to see Net being so aggressive in that scenario, because he was the gem carrier. And
a bit of cockiness from Titan. Like, they know they're in firm control now, but at the same time, Morphling suddenly with an Ethereal Blade, he's a foe to be worried about. If he can grab himself an Aegis as well now, it's a huge victory for Titan. I mean, sorry, for DT. But Titan know this. That's why they're smoked. They're looking to posture around the Roshan pit and not let this one go uncontested.
Yeah, no, DT, they've also smoked into the Roche pit, and they're
hoping
just
this Familiar expires. If this Familiar expires, they'll start on Roche.
Yeah, or the Forge Spirit, yeah.
Oh, it's gone now.
And there come the pings. This is their opportunity. Titan, they have the wrong idea. They think DT are going to be stationed around the trees. They may catch this Morphling. He'll wait for him forward. Oh, no. This smoke will be so successful. XDD just gets destroyed. They'll get the gem back. So, I spoke too soon. They had the right idea. Morphling just...
That's Titan with Roche.
Ooh.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yep, Nature's Prophet has already moved into the pit. He's got the Necro units. There's some Forged Spirits here. And this should be an easy Roche. That poor Morphling, though, had absolutely no idea. That waveform forward. Already he was in trouble, but without that escape vehicle, that was just an easy kill.
It's like Yamate's going to be taking the Aegis for his team.
Roshan
With this, they'll wait probably for the Necrobooks to cool down. Both are about a minute away, so they're not ready to push this second, but once they have those Necrobooks, pushing the high ground should be very, very possible, and with double hexes now as well. This Morphling just gets so hard countered by Titan.
They just have so many tools to break that Linken's. Now with the Sheeps, they've got 3 Force Staves out. They've got the Necro units, who can use the Mana Burn with a little bit of Micro, and then plenty of other hero spells as well, like some Fade Bolt action. So that Linken's not completely useless, but not particularly useful either. And even though Morphling does have the E-Blade out, we've yet to see him really use it to any real success. I don't think he's been able to shotgun anybody down quite yet, so... Yeah, a little bit unfortunate for DT. Have they made any other progression in terms of items? Not really. Puck's still about where he was 10 minutes ago. Ultimate Orb not much closer to the Hex. Bristleback, well, he's got himself the Mech. Ogre Club working towards a BKB, but not much else besides that. Visage with only a Medallion. And Alchemist, he's got just a casual Ogre Club right now. So all in all, DT looking in pretty bad shape.
They're very strapped for items right now. They've just got no comeback mechanic right now, I don't think. Morphling alone is just not going to cut it. Unless he had a really big fat farm supporting cast, which he doesn't have. Your Bristleback needs a BKB now, and they need much more than that. They almost scat out the Morphling there in the trees, but XDD replicates himself out.
Yep. And now, thought they may engage on In July here. OD could have forced that forward, thrown him in the Astral, but didn't want to compromise his positioning. Didn't have eyes on several members of DT, so didn't want to get too excited. They will go up top, though. Initiation onto XDD. He'll throw a shotgun out on Net, but
actually
off the mark with the adaptive strike there. Yeah, that was...
creep. He tanked it. He's still alive, man. Creepy the Creep, he's always marching forward. He's going to go down the bristleback quills.
Yep. Oh,
He
this
copped that adaptive.
creepy the creep.
That creep was a true hero of war, I tell you that.
Yeah, well, in July, he's a hero of war as well. Soon to be a casualty, it seems, as he takes some damage. Does survive the initial onslaught. Extinct, taking pretty heavy damage as well. Rubik has actually stolen the Quill Spray ability, which is a little interesting here. Not ideal, but there will be quite a bit of split pushing. There's an Epicenter coming in super. He takes heavy damage as Net will basically solo him down. Invoker will finish off that bottom tier 3 tower as well. And DT, they just don't have the resources to deal with this split push.
Yeah, it's this split push. Normally it's the Prophet split pushing, but Invoker just as equipped to do so for free. Yamato in the front line taking a lot of damage, but he's got the Aegis for this. Burrow Strike goes through, catching out to in July and Air, caught out in the Sprout here. They cop the Sandy's Eclipse, they're going to just melt here. XTD goes in, catches out the OD, but he's not even dead yet. The Aegis will proc if he does die. I don't even know if he's going to die here. Earned up, he'll go down here, but this is your Aegis. This is XTD dead for this, and this is possibly game 1 in the bag for Titan, I feel.
Yeah, Puck is bought back. They'll get a recovery kill onto the Rubik, but just
Bottom Raxes, top
yeah,
Raxes.
very small victories here for DT as they poke forward, getting some lag spikes and Sunstrike will be off the mark. But yeah, anytime a team is pushed back to the well while their Raxes are exposed and getting wrecked, yeah, bottom is already down and top taking pretty heavy damage. So even if DT don't tap out right here, I think they'll be forced to before too long. And Titan might not even need to back out here. Morphling dead for another 30 seconds. They can probably just rotate mid and make it mega creeps. Ah, there you go. GG.
Yeah, it was about that time here. Titan get themselves a game 1 victory, and they continue what they did yesterday as well as the day before. Pretty convincing victories, yeah, especially yesterday and this game here. I feel they just had a great strategy, good drafting, and were really well prepared. Like they're just playing really strong Dota, which is a good thing to see because they were not doing this back when they were in Southeast Asia, back in Malaysia.
Yeah, and their core strategy with drafting, aside from last picking OD, which was a little curveball after a first pick Invoker, they second picked the Nature's Prophet and they banned out a lot of offlaners. They took out Darkseer and the Centaur as well as a few others.
Yeah,
and
Nyx Assassin.
Yeah,
well.
the Nyx Assassin in particular, and that left DT with pretty much Bristleback or Clockwork. And I don't think you can pin this loss on the Bristleback, but he was not a big contributor, ending 1-8-5. He was underfarmed, and he just struggled throughout the entire game.
There were so many good heroes for dealing with him. Invoker, Sunstrike, and as well as the OD. All that pure damage just cripples him. Not to mention, his laning stage just sucks because there's so much, like, Rubik Telekinesis plus tanking Burrow Strike, and that's tough to go up against. One of the DT players, man, that guy's looking pretty upset. Jeez.
Yeah, he looks a little...
He's rubbing his eyes. I don't know what the deal is there, but he was not pleased with game 1.
What time is it right now in China? Like, is this prime time for them? Is it morning?
About 6:30 p.m.
6:30 p.m. Okay.
The game was started at 5:30 p.m. Yeah, so it's now 6:30.
Okay. So that was game 1. We've got 3 more games coming up. We'll see how Titan fares against DT in the second of their best of 2. DT will have an opportunity to tie it up, or maybe Titan can just continue their streak of domination through the gauntlet here. As they're well on their way.
They have got a tough opponent in their second match. Newbie's a team where a Noob would be the favorites against Titan, but
yeah. So that'll be the first of the really difficult part of the gauntlet, and then tomorrow it'll be IG and DK that they'll have to go up against. So getting steadily harder here for Titan, but game 2 for DT of Titan coming up before too long here. We'll have a quick break, and then we'll get game 2 up in just a moment.